show you how you can make a projected curve or use a projected curve to draw a bottle spout that you might see on a squeezy bottle of some sort. Okay, and this is a hollow sort of structure here. Okay, I'm going to be using projected curves for this, and the fill tool, and hopefully the split tool as well. So I'm going to start off with a new drawing here. So I'm going to start by working on the top plane. So click on the top plane and click on the sketch tool and then switch to top view. Okay, so I'm going to start off thinking about the layout of this. So this is going to be the circular part of the spout, and then the spout is going to stretch over to this side here. So we'll start off with a circle on the origin and drag that out. I'm going to make this about 25 millimeters. We can change the size of that later on. This is the whole point of this, is that it is all editable. I'm then going to take the spline tool. I'm going to start on the edge of the circle here, so I can try and make it as tangent as I can, and then just plot out roughly the sort of shape of the spout. And again, we can adjust this later on. Okay, so there. Okay, press escape to finish that off, and then take my line drawing tool and draw that to the center here. Okay. Escape. Now, whilst that's still there, we can adjust the curve of this, so we can change the shape of this one here. We have a handle here we can move around as well, so change it, and we can also adjust this part here. So we've got lots of points of adjustment that we can actually use this, and this is nicely in tangent with the circle edge here as well. Okay, we'll set another dimension as well. We'll go from the center of the circle here to the edge there. We'll set this to 50, which I was almost at anyway, 50. There. And we can also set the distance here for this line of the spout here. So we'll set that at 5. Okay. Call that out there so we can see it. Again, we can adjust these as well at a later date. Okay, so now I've got those in place. I'm happy with the shape of this. So what I can do now is have a look and see if we can mirror this down. So I'm going to take the mirror tool. Okay, I'm going to select the edge of the front plane here that you can see here as my mirror line there, and then select the edge of the my spline to mirror across like so. And I'm also going to pick up the line here as well to mirror that across. So I've got those two parts there. Okay, and that's fine there. Brilliant. Now the advantage of doing that is that I can adjust this part here, and it will adjust on the other side as well. So I have a symmetrical part there for that. So at any time I want to adjust this, I can just pull these around to change that, and I can change this size here, and that'll change there. Change this value, and that'll shrink the spout width as well. Okay, or I can change the value of the circle as well, and that will change. Okay, so it's all editable. Right, finish off that sketch. Okay, so now let's look at that way. What I want to do now is to draw on the front work plane to create the projected curve that we're going to use for this. So click on my front work plane. Oh, actually, before we do that, I'm just going to go back into this sketch here and just put 2 points. 1 point on the edge of the circle there. Okay, there. This will help me see the edge of my shape later on. So I've got 2 just points that I've put at the extremities of my shape there. That'll help me later on. So green tick, I forgot that bit. Right, okay. So then now I'm going to do a new sketch on the front work plane, and you can see those 2 points are showing up there, which is good. And I'm going to put a new sketch, and that's going to be on the front work plane. Okay. Right, so this time I'm going to take my spline tool again, and I'm going to try and draw the projected curve. So this is the shape that I want of the edge of the top of the bottle. So I know that starts off flat, and then it curves upwards. Okay, so it starts off flat and then curves upwards. And this is the upper line here. So take my spline tool. Now to make this line up, a good trick for this is if you bring your cross over the edge of this, but don't press, just hover it over it, and then as you slide up, can you see that you get the dotted line there, so you know that it's lined up with that part. Okay, so there, and start to just draw this across. I want this to be flat first, so that's probably going to be the edge of my circle there, roughly. Bear in mind it's going to blend in, and we'll just plot this shape coming up. Now I'm getting to the end of this, so I want this to be lined up. So what I'm going to do is just bring my point there, not press, just hover it there, and as I slide up, I know that I'm now in line with that part. Bingo. Okay, and then press escape to finish it off. Okay, now that gives me the top of my shape there. So I want the other one to go slightly below and through that to create the curve here. Okay, so I'm going to draw a second sketch for this. So I'm going to close this one off. Okay, I'm happy with the shape of that. And again, I can go back into this at any time and I can adjust the handles and change the shape and pull it around. So this makes it all nicely editable for me. Okay, I'm going to just cross this one because I don't want to save that change I just made. Okay, there. Right, so I'm going to do a second sketch on this. So new sketch on the front work plane again. Okay, another spline tool. Okay, this time I'm going to start slightly below here. Zoom in, and again I'm going to hover over the point that I created earlier from sketch 1, and then drag that down so I know that it's lined up. We could do this with horizontal alignment afterwards, but this seems to be quite a neat way of doing it. So there, I'm just going to follow this up. I don't want it to be exactly parallel to the previous one, so it's going to have a slight sort of change of shape here. Otherwise, I could have just copied the original shape and then moved that along. Okay, so there we go. So it's narrowing the spout there. Again, I'm going to go down to the bottom here, hover over that, bring that up so I can see the line, and then click to finish it off, and then escape. There we are. Okay. Now again, make sure you untick or unclick your spline tool before you do this. You can then grab the handle and you can change this shape at any time. Any of these points you can edit and pull them about, so it makes it nice and editable as you're there. Now I know that the spout does have a slice that goes through here. We're going to do that later on, so don't worry about that. The important thing is about getting these three parts lined up. That's really important to get those three lined up. Okay, so let's green tick that. So now I have three sketches. One is my original outline here. I have my spline tool coming through here, and projected curve coming through here, and another one coming through here. I'm going to go back into my sketch one because what I didn't do was actually cut out this part of the circle that I don't need. So let's go back into sketch 1 there and look on the top. There we are. So this part here of the drawing, I don't need that. It may not interfere with the projected curve, but it could do. So I'm just going to take out that part there. That's it. Okay, so then I have a complete outline. That's fine. Okay, brilliant. Right, so now I've got my three shapes set up there. Okay, so let's have a look at how we can project curve these. Okay, so I'm going to go to my tools over here and choose projected curve. Okay, there we are. So the first sketch you need to select is the drawing. Actually, no. So it's the spline that you drew that's going to form it. So I'm going to do the one from sketch 2. Okay. And then in second sketch, I'm going to select around the perimeter of my sketch 1. Okay, so this part here. And it's important that you do this in order as you go around. You don't miss out any parts, like so. And that should have generated a projected. Oh, no, hang on, I'm on the wrong sketch there. Just a minute. What have I done? I've put them all in the same sketch. It's important that you do select the other part there, otherwise it's going to go funny. So select that and then select the edge. There we go. There we go. You can see it forming the projected curve now as I go around. There we are. Okay, so now I have my projected curve. So this is, first sketch is my sketch 2, which is the profile. And then these are the parts of sketch 1 that I've gone around the perimeter there. Green tick that. And that gives me my first projected curve. Brilliant. Now you will see that sketch 1 does hide itself when it's being used. You can unhide that so you can still see that, which is good for that because we haven't finished with it yet. Right, so now I'm going to do a second projected curve. So select that. First sketch is going to be my second profile, or in this case sketch 3. Make sure you click on the second part there, and then you can then select the outline to create the other projected curve. And remember, you've got to go all the way around again. There we are. Okay, and then green tick. And now I have my two projected curves and my outline part. I don't need this part at the moment, so I can hide that again. So there we are. There I've got my projected curves. Nice. Okay, so the next job is to fill these in. I like to fill them and then loft them for this. So what we're going to do, we're going to go to our fill tool here. I'm going to click on the top projected curve, and that should now fill as a complete shape for us, which is fine, brilliant. Okay, go and tick that. And then use the fill tool again and click on the bottom shape and fill that in. There we go. And we have two surfaces, new surfaces created here. Surface 1 and surface 2 for our part here. And again, we can still go back into all this and we can edit all this. So this is all nice sort of development we're getting here. Okay, so I now want to go to my loft tool, loft one here. Okay, and I'm going to click on the bottom shape, yeah, and then I'm going to click on the top shape, the outline there. And what it should do is loft between the two shapes. And what it does, it creates a solid in between those two projected curves for us. Okay, it gives a nice shape to go through there. Okay, right, green tick down. What you'll see as well, you will see that you get this breakup occurring here because the solid shape is showing through the surface of the projected curve. That's why that's coming through there. So let's green tick that. There we have a nice shape there. Right, okay, so I'm going to hide my surfaces because I don't need those at the moment, so just hide those. Okay, and there I have my shape created from two projected curves. Okay, now I can then take my fillet tool and we can have a look at rounding off various edges here. So let's round this off here. 5 mil is probably too much for this, so let's take this down to 1 mil. Okay, there. I think that's probably going to be happy with that. Let's see. Ooh, it doesn't like 1 mil. 1 mil seems to be too much. It likes it there, but it doesn't like it on that side there. Let's get it to go all the way around. Yeah, it's worked now. It's the tangent going all the way around. So we're okay on that. And shall I do the bottom? Yeah, I'll do the bottom edge here. And here. And I could also do the edge here. So you have a look at your shape and see whether you think that's going to work for you. Okay. And I think we've just got the edge of that shape there, haven't we? Yeah, there we go. That's it. Okay, green tick that. And there we have our nice projected curve spout. Now what I'm also going to do is to just make this part hollow. So I'm going to take my shell tool and click on the front face of this. Now it's only giving me a tiny little letterbox at the moment because of the shell thickness. Let's take this down to 0.5 mil. Okay, there, green tick that. And there we have a nice hollow spout shape coming through. Yeah, I'm happy with that. There you have. Right, press P to take out the work planes. Now you can still see the line here that's happening here. That's because you still have a curve showing here. So we can actually just hide that as well. And there we have our shape. And of course we can then go to our shaded without edges to hide that area as well. And there you have your nice shape there. Okay, a projected curve. Now, the good thing about this, as I said earlier, you can go in and you can edit any part. So I can go back into my sketch 1. I can have a look at that. I can say, well, actually, what I'd like to do, I don't want this to be so large. Maybe change that diameter to 20. Yeah, that'll shrink down. Yeah, green tick that. And your whole drawing will adjust accordingly for you. So you have got some editing abilities there. And if you want to change the shape of the curve, say on this one here, we can look at that. That was on the front plane here. So we can look at this and say, okay, well, actually what I want to do, I want this to have more of a lip coming here and maybe pull this part down here, like so, green tick, and it will adjust accordingly. So it makes it nice and editable as a finished product for you. Okay, I'm looking forward to seeing your results. The last part of this, I want to see how we can actually change the shape of the spout so that it has an angle coming through this. So we put an extra part through. And if you remember when we drew this, we were trying to keep these aligned up all the time. So all our sketches were lined up as they were drawn. So in order to get the projected curve to work. So we can't do it at that point, but we can do it now the drawing is complete. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to work on the front work plane for this, okay? And I'm going to do a new sketch on the front work plane, okay? Just going to do that one there. So front work plane, let's see. Just go select the plane. Oh, I'm not showing up the planes, hang on. There we go. Yeah, they are. Right, okay, so we'll take a line drawing tool here, and I'm going to start from this point here and just draw this through to create a line coming through there. And again, I can adjust the length, and the length must be longer, but the angle you can adjust as well if you need to. So I'm going to set it to there. That's fine for me. Escape that. Okay. And then whilst that's still there, I'm going to go to my extrusion tool here. Yeah. And I'm going to extrude this, but as a surface. Okay. All right. And I'm going to extrude this to go symmetrical. Okay. All right. And it's going to be that line there that I'm going to extrude. So then it creates a shape going through. As long as it goes all the way through, you're not too bothered about the depth of it, provided that the total depth does actually cut through. Like I say, that's what you need. Okay, right, green tick that. So that gives me a surface running through, which is cool. So then now I'm going to go to my split tool, which is this one here, split. Okay, there. So the part I'm going to split is the spout that I've created, and the entity that I'm going to split with is the surface that I've just created. So click on that there, and what that should do is slice that through, and you can see here now we have two parts showing here. So that has actually taken the first part and made two parts. So then now, when I green tick that, that should show up there. Okay. Now you can then hide the second part. So in this case, that part there, that hides that, and now I should have my slice coming through the end of that part there. Okay. And there we have the finished product. So again, I can press P to hide those panels. I can hide my sketches again. And there we have it. Now, if you decide that the angle that you've had there isn't quite the way you want it to be slightly different, you can always go back into sketch 4. We can have a look at this angle here and change that. You may find that your drawing doesn't redraw because, of course, you've hidden the part, so we can put that back in again. So don't panic that you've lost it. It's just that you this part has changed by having the split done to it. Okay, so we can then change the angle of this part here if we wanted to. I'm happy with this. I'm going to leave it as it is. There we go. And again, we can hide the second part if we don't need that part there. And then I have my spout created. Okay, well done.